Our second recipe for today is the cinnamon tangerine baked tofu. Now, this dish is an excellent meatless meal option during the holidays that's high in fiber, protein packed, and low in cost. So that'll be a good thing. It's a delicious way to ease into a plant forward diet. And if you've been following us over the last many years, you know that that is what is recommended for risk reduction of cancer, and also many other chronic diseases, including diabetes and cardiac disease. And this dish, wow, the ingredients and flavors that Jeremy has put into this dish is going to be a party for your taste buds. So if you're having taste changes, I think this is going to be a dish you may want to try because it may be helpful for you. And the other great thing about this dish is you can make it ahead. So if you experience cancer-related fatigue, it's one way of making this ahead so you have less to do on the day. And if it's make ahead, it's also something you can take to your family, your chosen family, your friend's place for a holiday meal. So back to the kitchen with Jeremy.
Thanks, Daniela. Yes, so this was actually inspired from a dish that we've made in the past that pulls in these sort of North African flavors. So a little bit of Morocco, a little bit of Tunisia, and we're sort of highlighting these ingredients with a little bit of cinnamon and turmeric and orange, and we decided to take, like Daniela mentioned, more of a plant-based version of it. So we're using tofu as our plant-based protein for this dish, and an extra firm tofu, which I think holds up really well with a little bit of the longer roasting time. Okay, so what I've done is just taken that block of extra firm tofu, press it with a little bit of paper towel, get as much of that excess water out as possible. This just means that you're going to get a little bit of a crispier tofu as it roasts, and then cut it into sort of larger dice pieces. So I kind of just slice it into slabs and then cross slice that into the size of like a little bit larger than like a dice, like a game die on there. Okay, so we have our tofu ready to go. The rest of the ingredients, it's really up to you in terms of the vegetables. I'm adding some bell pepper and some red onion. You can add, sliced carrots, you can add cauliflower, some cabbage. It's again, very versatile dish. Use what you have, use what you like. I'm adding some chickpeas as well. Really simple, canned tin, the tin chickpeas, drain and rinse. They're already cooked, so it makes it easy. Another great plant-based protein as well that you can include. And now it's really up to, flavoring these up with some really nice spices. So what I'm going to do is get my dish. Now you can use any sort of baking dish, roasting dish, anything that is oven safe. You can use a pan as well. So I just have a deeper saute pan here. And just to save myself from having to do a lot of scrubbing afterwards, who wants to do that, especially during the holidays, I'm going to line it actually with a little bit of parchment. So I'll rip off a sheet. If you've watched our shows before, you've seen this trick before. Rip off a sheet a little bit larger than my pan. And then because it's a flat sheet, it's a little bit harder to get nice and deep into a deeper roasting dish or saute pan. I'm going to run it under a little bit of water and then crumple it up into like a little wad, little paper wad, and then we can unravel this. And then this will tuck in really nicely into our pan so that everything will still roast and get super delicious and tasty, but it won't stick to the bottom and make it a headache for me to scrub. So there we go. Line the pan. We can go ahead and add all of our ingredients. We're using, again, like I said, bell pepper here and red onion. You can use frozen veg here, like a nice mixed frozen veg would be fantastic. Chickpeas. in there. Tofu. Throw it all in. So all my ingredients are in my dish. And now to season them up. So we're gonna add a little bit of turmeric, about a quarter teaspoon of ground turmeric. About a teaspoon of cinnamon. I like the hit of the cinnamon in here. I think it tastes really great. And then something a little bit different. I do like the addition of smoked paprika with tofu. I think it's going to add another nice dimension, but even just regular paprika would be fine. Or again, here's an opportunity to experiment. You can even use ground ginger, some cumin, some coriander, whatever you like there. So about a half teaspoon of the smoked paprika. And then we're going to get our orange. This, I think, is the highlight of this dish. So wash it really well. And we're going to use both parts of the orange. The zest on the outside, which has that really sort of essential oil, that orange oil. So this is what's going to make it super fragrant, especially as it's roasting. And so you just take the rasp and just remove just the very outside of the orange, tangerine, clementine, whatever you like. This is the time for citrus. So we don't think of like winter time as being the time for citrus, but this is when citrus is in season. So starting now up into probably end of January, even into March, with some of it, you're going to get some really, really great citrus. So we're going to take the zest, put that in there, and then we'll cut it in half. I'm going to add the juice. Now, if it's like a smaller, like clementine or tangerine, add the juice of the whole thing. I'm looking for like 3 to 4 tablespoons. Again, not getting super particular with this. But this is a larger orange, so that was pretty good. If you want to throw in a couple slices of the orange as well, why not? That'll roast up, get nice and crispy. It's more for presentation. And then we'll add a little bit of olive oil, so about tablespoon and a half of olive oil. Small pinch of salt. And a little bit of black pepper.
I was waiting for that.
Yes.
I was hoping there'd be a little bit of black pepper in there.
Why, Daniela? Why?
Why? My brain is exploding because there are so many power couples in this dish. And one of those power couples is the turmeric, which contains curcumin, with the black pepper, which contains piperine. So the curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric that has the powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects, which is great for heart health, preventing Alzheimer's disease, helping support, maybe, I don't know about reducing cancer risk, but it has that anti-inflammatory part, and cancer is a chronic condition that is chronic inflammation. So it has a part to play there. But curcumin is poorly absorbed, very poorly absorbed. And so by adding the black pepper, the active ingredient piperine in the black pepper actually increases the absorption of curcumin by 2,000%. Isn't that pretty cool? And also, curcumin is fat soluble. So adding the olive oil helps to improve the absorption of curcumin as well. I talk so much about turmeric and black pepper and olive oil that the other power couple will just have to wait.
Awesome. I love it. So we have 2 power couples in this. Can't wait for the other one. All right. So toss it up just so that everything is evenly coated with all those great flavors. And then we're going to throw this in the oven. If I want it to get nice and crispy on top and I want that tofu to crisp up a little bit, I'm going to go no lid on and put it into a 425-degree oven for about 30 minutes or so. And just keep an eye on it. The edges will start to get a little crispy, and we want a little bit of that. We want a little bit of crispy for that texture. But if I don't want that caramelization, we could just put a lid on and roast it that way. Okay, so that's gonna go in the oven.
While he's doing that, I'm going to sneak in the other power couple that's in that dish. So when you have plant proteins, oh gosh, but first we have to look at how beautiful that dish is. Should I go ahead with the
Go
power
ahead.
couple?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So tofu and chickpeas, plant proteins, they do contain iron, but because it's a plant form of iron, it's poorly absorbed. But by adding the oranges to this dish, you get a good amount of vitamin C. And the vitamin C improves the absorption of iron from the tofu and chickpeas by about 50%. So this is just an explosion of health protective compounds in this dish.
Love it. Yes. So 30 minutes, and let me see if I can get to a little more light here for you. We have this amazing dish. It smells incredible in the kitchen, like this orange, the cinnamon, and you get this like the tofu, which I think is enhanced by those crispy bits, those crispy little edges. And you get, the peppers crisping up a little bit. Super delicious, super tasty. This is fantastic on its own. We're gonna serve it with just a little bit of couscous, a little bit of whole wheat couscous here. You can do this with rice too, I guess. But just to make it a little more complete, we have some whole wheat couscous that we've cooked up. One of our favorites in the kitchen in terms of the convenience, like 3 minutes just to soak with hot water. So 1 part couscous, 1 part hot water. Soak it in a bowl and cover it with a plate, which is all I did. And then 3 minutes, it's done. Really simple. I'm gonna fluff this up with a fork. And this will be sort of our base for this dish. It's gonna help to catch and absorb all those delicious flavors. Put a nice pile of it on our plate here, and then some of that peppers and the crispy tofu and the chickpeas. Some of the juices from the orange still around. I'll add, if you have a little green, a little mint, or a little cilantro, make it a little more festive. But that is our dish, our sort of, what do we call this? Our orange cinnamon tofu?
Gosh, what did we call it? Cinnamon tangerine baked tofu.
There you go.
And we added in the festive.
Wonderful, yes.
Yes.
It smells amazing. And again, even if you're not vegetarian, I think this is a wonderful option. A great meatless option, but it's a wonderful entree to put together.
Looks beautiful.
Yum.
Okay.